Friends, in my previous session, we had learnt about variances and blocking reasons in invoice verification. Now, we will move to the next topic in invoice verification, which is subsequent debits, credits, delivery costs, and credit memos. So, today in this session, we will take the part 1 of the topic, which is subsequent debit and credit. So I have divided this into two sections. Section A, we will learn about the overview of subsequent debit and credit. And in section B, we will do one exercise and post a invoice with subsequent debit. Now, we will learn about the overview of the subsequent debit and credit. If we see this figure here, there is a PO for a certain material A. Vendor has initially delivered 50 pieces, valued at 500 rupees or euro, whatever it is, and he sends invoice for 50 pieces. So the total invoice value is 15 to 10, which is 500 rupees. Next, he delivers the next 20 pieces of the same material A and sends invoice for the 20 pieces, which is at 20 into 10, which is 200 euro. Then the total invoiced amount, including the previous invoice, is 50, that is 500 plus 200, which is 700 rupees. Next, the vendor finds that he has under estimated the cost of the material, and then he has incurred some additional cost for these materials, and the additional cost what the vendor finds is 25 rupees for the 20 pieces. Then he sends a subsequent debit for the 20 pieces for rupees 25. Now the total invoiced amount will be 700 plus the subsequent debit of 25, that is 700 plus 25, which is 725 rupees. Now, what is a subsequent debit credit? A subsequent debit credit changes the total invoice value of a purchase order item, but the total invoice quantity remains unchanged. The subsequent debit or credit, it only changes the total value of the PO, but not the total quantity. The total invoice quantity remains unchanged. First, we will see what is a subsequent debit. If a purchase order item has already been invoiced and further costs are incurred, we enter a subsequent debit. Example, a vendor has invoiced us at too low price and then sends a second invoice for the difference. Next, subsequent credit. What is a subsequent credit? If a purchase order item was invoiced at too high a price and the vendor sends a credit memo, then we enter a subsequent credit. Example, a vendor has invoiced us at too high price and then sends a credit memo for the difference. That is the difference between a subsequent debit and subsequent credit. In case of a subsequent debit, the vendor has to, that is the vendor will send a invoice for some additional cost which has incurred. And in case of a subsequent credit, the vendor has invoice already at a high price and then he sends a credit memo. If we enter a subsequent debit or credit, the system suggests the entire invoiced quantity but no value. The maximum quantity that we can subsequently debit or credit is the quantity that has already been invoiced. We can only enter a subsequent debit or credit for a purchase order item if an invoice has already been posted for this item. So, we can post a subsequent debit or credit for a PO only if a invoice has already been posted. And further, if we enter a subsequent debit or credit, the system suggests the entire invoice quantity but no value. For example, I will take you to SAP and let us see. Here there is a PO here. Here, if you see this PO, GR is already done. The PO is for 10 pieces. GR is done for the 10 pieces and invoice is already posted for the 10 pieces. So this PO is complete. Now, for example, if I try to post a subsequent debit for this PO, the system suggests only the total quantity total quantity but not the price. For example, here I will go here, I will go to PO. I have copied that PO here. This is the PO. So this is the PO, right? Yeah, 4500018000. Okay, if I try to post invoice for this PO, see what happens. See, it will suggest only the total quantity but not the amount. So whatever the subsequent debit or credit, okay, we want to enter, we can enter the amount here for the this quantity. System will suggest only the total invoiced quantity and not the amount. That amount, additional amount, whatever that, for example, if I post a subsequent debit here, okay, subsequent debit, then whatever the additional amount the vendor has incurred, I can enter here and post the invoice. So that is the meaning of, if we enter a subsequent debit or credit, the system suggests the entire invoice quantity but no value. Because here the invoice quantity was 10, here it is 10. The system, when we try to post a subsequent debit for this PO, then system will suggest the total invoice quantity but not the price. This amount we have to enter here. Next, a subsequent debit or credit cannot refer to a particular invoice. It can refer to a purchase order only, which is already invoiced. A subsequent debit and credits are listed separately in the PO history. Once we post a subsequent debit or credit, for example, here I will show you this one here. See, this is a PO here, 4500017999. Here the PO is for 10 pieces. Already GR is done for the 10 pieces. Invoice is also posted for the 10 pieces. Then there is a subsequent debit here, right? See, again subsequent debit for the some additional amount we have posted here. So a subsequent debit is shown separately in the purchase order history. Here we can see here always. Next, account movements with a subsequent debit or credit. What are the account movements? See here, there is a PO for 50 pieces at €2 per piece. GR is done for the PO for 50 pieces. Invoice is also posted, 50 pieces is equal to €2 per piece. Then the vendor finds some additional amount of €20 for the material which he has supplied. Then he will send the subsequent debit for that additional cost, whatever he has incurred. Now, what are the account movements? When we post the GR, the system will update the stock account with the price, the PO price, which is 50 into 2, that is €100. GRAR clearing account with €100. Next, when you post invoice, the GRAR clearing account is updated with the PO price, which is 100, 50 into 2, 100, and then vendor account is also updated with 50 into 2, that is €100. Next, when we post the subsequent debit of €20, then this €20 is posted to the stock account, and this €20 is posted to the vendor account also. So here, one important thing, why it has posted to the stock account? Because the material is valuated at moving average price. Suppose if the material is valuated at standard price, then this subsequent debit amount of €20 will be updated to the price difference account. So here, let us know these points. When we post a subsequent debit or credit, the system posts the invoice amount to the vendor account. So whatever the subsequent debit or credit, whatever the amount we post here, it will post it to the vendor account first. Next, if the quantity to be subsequently debited or credited has already been delivered, the system makes the offsetting entry to the stock account if the material is valuated at moving average price, or the price difference account if the material is valuated at standard price. For purchase order items with account assignment, the system makes the offsetting entry to the consumption account. So what I mean to say is, when we post a subsequent debit or credit, the system posts the amount, that is the extra amount, to the vendor account, and also it will also make the offsetting entry to the stock account. Here in this example, it has updated the subsequent debit of €20 to the stock account. Why? Because the material is valued at moving average price. Suppose if the material is valued at a standard price, then the offsetting entry is made to the price difference account. That is one thing. This is the case of if the material is already been delivered. If the material is already delivered, then the system makes the offsetting entry to the stock account. Next, what about if the material is not yet delivered? I mean, before the material is delivered, if the if the subsequent debit is posted, then which accounts are updated? In that case, if the quantity for subsequent debit or credit has not yet been delivered, the system makes the offsetting entry to the GRAR clearing account. Later, when the goods receipt is posted, the system posts the debit or credit to the stock account or the price difference account depending on the price control. Or for the PO items with account assignment, it posts to the consumption account. For example, what I mean to say is if the material or if the quantity of the material for which we are going to post subsequent or debited, we are going to post subsequent debit or credit has not yet been received, then the system will update the offsetting entry to the, that is whatever the amount we are posting to the subsequent debit or credit is updated to the GRAR clearing account. Okay, this is the case when the material is not yet received. Then later when the GR is posted or when the material is received, then the system posts the debit or credit to the stock account or the price difference account depending on the price control. If the material is valued at moving average price, then it will update the amount to the stock account, or if the material is valued at standard price, then it will update the amount to the price difference account. Or if the material is procured for some account assignment, then the system will update that subsequent and debit cost to the consumption account. For example, here I will show you one PO here where the subsequent debit or credit is already posted. For example, here this PO, right? Here this PO 4500017999. For this PO, the total PO quantity of 10 pieces is already received and invoice is already posted for the total PO quantity. Next, the vendor has sent a subsequent debit of 100 rupees for this PO. So this is this is also posted. Now this material, if we go to this material K-10004, if you go to the accounting one view, this material is valued at moving average price V. Now let us see to which accounts the price is updated in the when we post a subsequent debit. So this is a subsequent debit, right? I will click this one here. I will go to the follow-on documents. I will go to the accounting document. So here we can see the additional cost of 100 rupees is made to the material account. Okay, that is the material account. Inventory, material, raw material. So why? Because this material is valued at moving average price. If this material was valued at standard price, then that subsequent debit of 100 rupees would have been updated in the price difference account. So this is about the overview of subsequent debit and credit. Next, in the next session, we will post one invoice with subsequent debit. Thank you for watching my video. Please give me your valuable comments, likes, and please subscribe to my channel so that you will not miss any of my videos on various scenarios in MM. Thank you for your time.